Let's bring in my panel. We've got Sky News contributor and PR guru Prue McSween and Chief of Staff to Pauline Hanson, James Ashby. Now, played some astonishing exchanges earlier in the program between Liberal MPs and the ABC boss, none more so than these revelations about their shoddy coverage of the violence in Alice Springs and efforts to discredit concerned locals as white supremacists. Well, it turns out the journalist behind that report wasn't even in that meeting.
I think it's utterly disgraceful that this sort of ongoing behaviour is allowed to continue.
I didn't think it was relevant, given that Ms Williams filed a report for 7 o'clock news that night that did have all the perspectives in it, and so
it's not relevant. I mean, Mr Anderson, if I had put that excuse up when I was a reporter at the ABC, I would have been hounded out of my job.
James, it really is so outrageous to misrepresent people living with an enormous surge in violence as being motivated by just racism.
Well, I'm surprised that David Anderson didn't turn around with a response of simply, hey, you got an apology 2 weeks ago, what more do you want from me? See, there is no accountability within the ABC. And how dare senators within the estimates hearing today, how dare they ask for any accountability? This problem will continue to go on well beyond any time that I spend in that parliament, well beyond the elected members' time in that place as well. The issue that I see, Rita, we're approaching another budget period, and you can bet your bottom dollar that the ABC will be rewarded for this bad behaviour with an increase to their budget. I'm telling you right now, they will not be held accountable for this, and their behaviour will only be rewarded by this Labor government. I'm sorry, they should be defunded completely and privatise them, make them pay their own way. I'm sick to death of this style of reporting and unaccountability.
Prue, Labor will probably reward them, but the coalition didn't do much whilst they were in power for successive terms. So really, do they have any grounds to complain now for what they've enabled over all these years?
Well, they haven't. You know, I was astounded when Morrison, gave them the extra funding and guaranteed more. Look, this mob wouldn't last 2 minutes in a commercial newsroom. The fact that Anderson, after almost 2 weeks of its so-called investigation, hasn't got the answers for this committee and for the people of Australia, it is beyond belief. And the fact, we all know that this journalist who didn't even attend the meeting, who was an Indigenous person who went there with an agenda, and we know that the ABC is totally agenda-driven when it comes to either making sure that they, stereotype white people as racists and the blacks as victims. Look, we're sick of it. We're absolutely sick of it. But of course, as James said, the ABC will get refunded and probably extra.
Well, I spoke to Matt Cunningham, who obviously is based in the NT, and he says the ABC's local reporters, and I think they are Indigenous, it doesn't matter whether they are or not, they do a great job. They know the issues and they report with some balance and bring all perspectives, but it's the ones who fly in from head office who tend to come out with these ideological viewpoints, and that seems to colour their reporting.